Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the Howarthon. And remember the big giveaway at 9. Don't miss it. And don't forget to wear your masks. The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
My God, isn't that the most annoying jingle you ever heard? Welcome back to another review, and this time we're going to be covering Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. This is the black sheep of the Halloween franchise because it has nothing to do with the greater Halloween franchise. For Season of the Witch, Halloween 3, they did something that in concept and in theory was very intriguing, which was release a different movie under the Halloween title, but have it take place on the Halloween during Halloween, like a different story every year, a la Tales from the Crypt or a Twilight Zone, where it's anthological. In concept and theory, it's a good idea, but this movie, not so good. Now, Halloween 3 is not a horrible movie by any means. It's not like offensively bad, but it's just not that good either. It does have stuff I like, and it has stuff that I don't like. Things I do like. I like Tom Atkins as the lead character, Dan. He's a ladies' man and an alcoholic, and he's a dick. He disowns his own kids, and he has a rocky relationship with his ex-wife. At least Tom Atkins tried to make him likable in his own little way, so I give Tom Atkins a lot of credit. Tom Atkins is a horror veteran. He's been in a number of horror films, from like The Fog, Night of the Creeps. Most recently, you could say, we'll say the My Bloody Valentine remake. So to me, Tom Atkins in a horror movie is instant credibility. He's a familiar face, and you know he's going to be good if everyone else is not so good. So, yeah. He tried to make do with what he had to work with. I give him a lot of credit. I like Dan O'Herlihy as Cochran, this like evil Mongol, this like corporate tycoon guy who creates all these Halloween masks, and whose ultimate plan is to play the ultimate trick on the kids on Halloween, which is to kill them. And he does this by combining witchcraft and technology, which to itself is very intriguing, but I think the execution fell a little short. I don't think they fully fleshed out exactly how he was going to do this. I think they just because they do a thing where he steals something from Stonehenge and uses that to create the mask, and you're just scratching your head, how is that supposed to work? It's just weird. It's just really weird. I think it could have been done in a better way, but I don't know. And that's one of the negatives I got with this movie, is that the writing could be very clunky in a lot of areas. A lot of the characters, to me, are very flat. Stacey Nelkin's character as, the Ellie, the love interest, is flat. Stacey Nelkin is just a bland actress. She looks good. She's cute as hell, but her character is just not all that intriguing to me. Then you got this family known as the Cuffer family, and they're just there to die. You got this other character named Marge Gutman, and she's just there to die. The makeup effects for the death scene's pretty cool. I'll give it that. The way the actual designs of the masks are pretty cool. There's a jack-o'-lantern, skeleton, and the witch, and they look pretty cool. The production value of this movie is really, really well done. This movie is directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, who worked very closely with John Carpenter on the first two Halloween movies. And in this one, he takes behind the director's chair, has a co-writing credit. But where I think Tommy Lee's writing can be clunky in a lot of areas, of course, he did a revision of a previous script, and he was compounded by studio mandates and crap like that. So I give the man credit for at least trying to make something or at least trying to make it watchable in terms of a script writing thing. But in terms of an actual production quality, the movie is fairly well done. I like Tommy Lee Wallace as a director. He also directed It, the TV miniseries. I think he's highly underrated as a filmmaker. I think he does a good job with pacing. Dean Cundey returns to once again as cinematography, and once again Dean Cundey proves why he is a talent. Dean Cundey has beautiful shots in this movie, especially that opening sequence where it takes place primarily at night. And you have one of the characters running away from something. We don't know what it is yet, but I like it. You know, it's got good pace, got good suspense. Like I said, cinematography is well done. It's a good looking movie. It's very well made. I give it that. From a production standpoint, solid. Again, from a story standpoint, not solid, because there's a lot of things that happen I just don't like. Like the whole relationship between, you know, Dan and Ellie to me is very forced, and just comes out of completely left field. And they go to this hotel and they start making out, and there's no lead or build up to anything, and they didn't even hint at, and it just happens, you know. Dan's a dog. If he sees a pussy, he's gonna fuck it, I guess. And they just don't work for me. The characters of Ellie and Dan as a couple, they don't work at all. And that's the main problem for this movie, because we're stuck with them, and I just don't buy them at all. And then we have, like, and again, these other characters are just there, and they're annoying. There's this kid who's annoying, and when he dies, I applauded because he was an annoying little brat. Then you got the Cochrane has this army of android robots, which is stupid because at the end of the movie, Ellie and Dan take them out very easily, but then it's revealed that Ellie was a robot herself. So I'm watching the movie scratching my head. You just concocted this plan. She helped you kill the other robots. How did she not die along with them? Because she was literally on top of, she was like literally helping you with these things, and you had robots that were chasing them up to an attic or a scaffold. They were very close to them, and they died as well. They short-circuited and died. So how Ellie didn't die, I don't get it. Plot convenience, and it makes no sense, and it's stupid. And that's the whole thing about this movie, is that you have a good movie here. Under the surface, you got a good movie, but it definitely needed more tinkering with. Now, I know a lot of people call this thing great or good or a classic. I'm not in that camp. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's good. I think it's in the middle of the road. It's, you know, it's not horrible. It's not bad. It's entertaining. It keeps your interest. You do got, you know, Dan O'Halloran and Tom Atkins do, you know, they keep you compelled to watch. But take those two guys out of this movie, and this movie is a dud. It really is a dud. So at the end of the day, I'm going to give Halloween 3 a 4 out of 10. I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. I like Tommy Lee's directing. Dean Cundey's cinematography is beautiful, as always. Tom Atkins and Dan O'Halloran are standouts and pretty much hold this movie together. The rest of the movie can use a lot of work, especially with its side characters who are just there. They have no personalities to me, and I don't care about either of them when they die. That's it. So 4 out of 10 for a mediocre movie. Now, I don't hate it. I want to be perfectly honest. Just because I gave it a low grade, it doesn't mean I hate it. I'm still entertained by this movie. But at the same time, I am a tough critic, and it takes a lot to impress me. And this movie does not impress me as easily as it may impress others. So those are my thoughts on Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. And on a final note, I just have this to say.
Happy Halloween, 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 happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.